In the midst of social distancing and business lockdowns, a freelance writer and a graphic artist bought a bus, converted it into a tiny home on wheels, and moved out of our 4-bedroom house. 1 year later, we downsized to a Chevy Express. Now we travel between Texas and Pennsylvania from April through November while exploring small towns with rich histories. In the winter, we hunker down in Texas in our schoolie and dream of our next big trip.
We're Alan and Theresa.
And we're rolling with our gnomies.
Okay.
The first courthouse was available for county commissioners' court meetings in July 1848. It was completed, the building completed in the center of Huntsville Public Square in 1850. But it was replaced by 1853
because of a defective foundation.
A defective foundation, that's right. So then they made repairs in 1856. They didn't last very long. Third county courthouse featured a grand jury house in the southwest corner of the grounds,
rather than inside the courthouse itself.
That was completed and in use by 1861. On the first day of 1888, the grand jury house was again called into service after the main courthouse burned. Boy, that courthouse has been through fire, hasn't it? They put it through the ringer. Commissioner's Court selected Eugene T. Heiner of Houston to design a new building. That's interesting. So, man, they had another burning in 1968.
Yep. At that time, it was one of the 25 oldest courthouses in the state of Texas.
Then they built a modern brick and steel structure in 1970.
Which is what we see today.
And that's this one right here. So, folks,
it is not a pretty courthouse.
You just, hey, look, you got to be nice to your courthouses, or this is what you get. Okay? Come on.
Oh, you're terrible. You didn't really say that. Walker County, earliest known inhabitants of this area were the Census and Bedai.
And Bedai Indians, or Bedai.
No, Bedais. There's a town called Bedais.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't mean that's what they call themselves.
Well, that's how it's spelled, though. Bedais.
Spanish explorers began to arrive in 1542, followed by the French in 1687. The area was thinly populated by Spanish and Mexican settlers until the early 1830s, when colonists came from the United States. Brothers Pleasant and Ephraim Gray established a trading post near this site about 1835, naming it for their home in Huntsville, Alabama. The region was included in neighboring counties until Walker County was created by the first legislature of the state of Texas in 1846, named for U.S. Senator Robert J. Walker, who introduced legislation for Texas annexation. The state penitentiary was established in 1849. One of the early pioneers in this area was Sam Houston.
Yep.
So that's we'll learn a little bit more about him later on, I'm sure.
Yeah, Sam Houston University is right down the road.
Yeah, so we're going to find out what else we got around the square here. Okay, they got murals.
They got murals.
We saw this one coming into town.
Yeah, we did.
Corner of University and 11th. It's on the side of that building right there.
It is. Let's go across the street. We'll be able to see it, I think.
Let's do a little jaywalk.
I mean,
I hope they don't have laws against that.
Look, you all about breaking laws today. I want to hear from you.
I'm also about getting off.
Mr. Leadfoot. There they are.
Right here is the site of the old trading post.
Okay.
Site of Pleasant Gray's trading post, right here. The first building erected in Huntsville. It's thought to have been a log trading post built near this site by the town's founder around 1835. In order to barter with the Bedayas and other friendly tribes of Indians, according to early settlers, the trading post was a small cabin in a grove of oak trees where the town's first business houses were built a few years later on the east side of Main Street.
Or University Avenue.
Currently University Avenue, fronting the courthouse square. It was chosen for its convenience to a spring about 1 block to the north near an artesian well, and later the electric light and ice plant. A small prairie west of the trading post afforded grazing for the ponies of Gray's Indian customers, and the spring provided a pleasant location for their camping ground. The prairie afterward became the site for the courthouse and surrounding blocks of businesses. Pleasant Gray's home was close to the trading post. His brother Ephraim assisted with the trading post, and he lived just north of the spring. The Grays operated the business for a few years, and Pleasant Gray built a tavern and hotel north of the courthouse square in 1841, where Ephraim moved a few years later to Madison County, where he remained until his death.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think got that marker.
I think there's a marker in Madisonville for Ephraim. I can't swear to it, but I think that there is.
Get a shot of this wall right there.
Oh my. All right.
So this mural,
you're gonna have to talk loud because that traffic.
This mural covers the entire surface of the east side of that building. It represents several episodes in General Sam Houston's career, including Houston as colony the Cherokee.
Yep.
His staying in the woodland home in Huntsville with his family, and his role as the victor of San Jacinto in 1836. All right, so we're standing in front of Town Theater here in Huntsville. It opened in 1947 as a movie house. Through the years, it served as a number of other purposes, including a manufacturing site, a nightclub, and a local pigeon roost. Today, after a $1 million renovation by the Friends of the Old Town Theater, the facility is used frequently for plays, musicals, concerts, and other community events. Its facade and permanent movie posters incorporate the work of artist Richard Haas. Those are nice vintage pieces of artwork too.
They are. I can't. Come on.
So you can see some coming up shows. Johnny Cash Tribute on the 27th. William Lee Martin, Texas comedian, on September 10th. And Wayne Toops, Grammy Award winner, September 24th. I don't know who he is, do you?
No, I don't.
You want a Grammy for your mammy?
Okay.
Across the street, or you want to?
No, I think we can.
You got it?
From here.
All right, we're standing in front of the Masonic Lodge, which was built in 1909. And it's Forest Lodge number 19. Established in 1844, and is the eighth oldest Masonic Lodge in Texas. Early members included Sam Houston and Henderson Yoakum. The first three buildings were built in different locations around the square. The current building was completed in 1909. Check out that old Conoco sign. Used to be a service station right here on this corner.
That is one cool sign. The sign is definitely older than the service station building that goes with it.
Yeah. Clinic parking only. Must have been a doctor's office or something too at one time.
But they left the Conoco sign, which was the important part.
So this is the First Baptist Church here in Huntsville. Man, look at that steeple.
It goes way up there.
Oh, it goes way on up there. What a steeple. Sam Houston was a member of this church. It was established in 1844. Makes it one of the earliest Baptist congregations in Texas. The first building at this site was completed in 1851. The third structure was built in 1924 under the guidance of Reverend C.F. Andrews, who was the father of actors Dana Andrews and Steve Forrest. After a fire in 1954, the church was rebuilt the following year. Well, they had a lot of fires here in Huntsville, didn't they?
They did. I think that one actually might have affected more than just the church.
Might have. It could have been a citywide fire.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's Sam Houston.
Red, white, and blue, the Texas flag with Sam Houston
As the star.
sitting there prominently. where
As
the
the star.
Yeah, where the Texas star would be, it's instead of the star, it's got Sam Houston. So yeah, pretty cool. And there's a, what is that, a crow? There's a tree.
Yeah, it's a bird.
Yeah. So the tree is obscuring the bird. I think it's probably a crow. That's pretty neat.
There.
So here's another mural on a wall here featuring Sam Houston. Looks like commemorating the Battle of San Jacinto. You can see the cannons there, and looks like a Mexican soldier. Or yeah, it's, you know, the teepees, the Indian teepees, and Sam Houston. So a nice piece of art. Oh, across the street too. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
That's
Sam Houston.
red, white, and blue, the Texas flag with Sam Houston. Yeah, where the Texas star would be, it's instead of the star, it's got Sam Houston. So yeah, pretty cool. And there's a, what is that, a crow? There's a tree.
Yeah, it's a bird.
Yeah. So the tree is obscuring the bird. I think it's probably a crow. That's pretty neat.
There's no problem at all.
So we're standing here in front of the Henry Opera House. It was built in 1880. You can see the big 1880 numbers up there. And then up through about 1913, it was a very hot spot for, you know, Shakespearean dramas and other acts, you know, comedians, singers, actors, some quite prominent people, performers of that time came here and put on their shows. And so this is quite a historic opera house. It is now a fabric store.
The second floor was the Opera House. The hysterical marker on the side says bottom was always dry goods.
Yeah, the bottom was a dry goods store, and the upper part was the Opera House. All right, so we're standing here in front of the Gibbs building, and I think this is pretty interesting. They call it the Gibbs Brothers store. It houses Gibbs Brothers and Company, which is the oldest business in Texas, and continuous operation by the same family at the same location. First opened as a mercantile store in 1841 by Thomas and Sanford Gibbs. It was frequented by none other than Sam Houston. You know, that guy really did a lot. He had his hands in everything. Wouldn't surprise me if he did decoupage with his toes.
Oh, I don't know, but he was all over the place in Huntsville. He might ought to have been doing something useful with his time.
Yeah, well, he stood outside the store here and whittled and told stories. This was the second side of his whittlings
but
business or ministry or whatever it was.
He had something to do. Wasn't he president of Texas or something?
Yeah, I think all this happened before that.
Oh,
He got busy and then he couldn't whittle anymore.
Oh, okay.
The brick structure of Gibbs building here was in 1890 and it housed the Gibbs National Bank, later the First National Bank, in the downstairs, and the Gibbs office upstairs, where it has remained for more than 100 years. I wonder if Sam Houston ever went into the office up there.
No, but I bet he went into the bank.
He probably did. He probably did. And withdrew money for his cigars and his whittling tools.
Sticks.
Anyways, folks, that concludes.
Wait. Okay.
Anyways, that concludes our tour of Huntsville, Texas. I hope you got a little bit out of it there. The walking tour around the downtown area of Huntsville. Most people know Huntsville, Texas as the place where the state penitentiary is located.
And it is. It's a couple of blocks west.
Yeah, we're not going to the state prison because, you know, I had this, you know, whatever scared me out of earlier today by a sheriff in Elkhart.
It might take some lead out of your foot.
So I don't want to go to the prison today, but thank you very much. Anyways, hope you got a lot out of this.
Y'all come back and see us next week.
Yeah, have a good one, guys. Alright, if I don't do this right, then I'm going to be on the bad side of my wife. So y'all bear with me and pray for me. But while you're doing that, don't forget, share us with your friends, like us if you like us if you don't, subscribe to the channel, it helps us out. God bless.